Hey guys, welcome back. I've officially stolen hosting duties away from Maddie so that I can spend some time with buddy TJ Voboril. Common spelling.
Common spelling. Yeah, good job, Barry. I appreciate that.
I've been working on it all day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And TJ's here to talk to us a little bit about the Eagle Valley Land Trust.
That's right.
Eagle Valley Land Trust just celebrated 40 years, is that correct?
Yeah, last year was our 40th year in 2021. I have been on the board for like 6 years now, and it is one of my favorite things to do, period. And I add skiing into that, being with my daughter, all the things. It is one of those kind of foundational institutions in the Valley, working behind the scenes to keep us the special valley that we are.
Yeah, so for those playing the home game that might not be as familiar with the Eagle Valley Land Trust, can you unpack a little bit of what you guys do?
Yeah, so our mission is to preserve forever the scenic lands and heritage that makes this valley special. So the way that we do that is by putting parcels of land into conservation forever.
Forever.
Yeah, this forever is a pretty powerful word.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this kind of go lifestyle, we don't think on those time scales, but we're kind of one of those institutions that thinks not on a 4-year cycle or an 8-year cycle, but 50 years down the road, 100 years down the road, what's this valley going to look like? And we have now 35 parcels under conservation. More than 11,000 acres. I think it's actually more than that, but I don't want to overstate it. It might be like almost close to 13 with the Brush Creek Valley Ranch and Open Space. So a lot of iconic places. You mentioned earlier the East Vail Waterfall. That's a parcel. The West Avon Preserve, I don't know if you're a mountain biker or a hiker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so all of that land in there is preserved by the Eagle Valley Land Trust in conjunction with some of our partners.
And so how does it work? The land still stays a private ownership, but goes into a conservation easement?
Yeah, exactly. So the kind of boring part about it, the contract part of it, the lawyer part of it, is you have a document that's recorded on the land. It's called a conservation easement, and each parcel has its own specific requirements and prohibitions in that document. And so what happens is the landowner agrees to treat the land that way. In exchange for that, they get certain tax credits. I won't even go there. That's a whole other thing.
That's the next 8-minute segment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll get deep into it. Okay. You can just push that button on your TV. But so the landowner continues to own the land. They can sell the land. Of course, it would be subject to that conservation easement. And our job is to steward the land, to make sure that the things that the landowner says they're going to do continue to happen as the years go on. And that stewardship and monitoring happens on a yearly basis. And there's, data that can be reviewed and all that sort of thing.
I think that one thing that you guys do that's really special is your partnership with local businesses. And for someone like me, that might be the best way for me to actually be a contributor to what you guys do. My wife tells me I buy too many coffees at Two Arrows.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to explain to her that this is my way to help the Eagle Valley Land Trust. Can you
good save, by the way. Yeah. Solid. I like that. That's a good cover.
Yeah,
I appreciate
doing
that.
My part.
Yeah, exactly. So the Land and Rivers Fund is a partnership between the Eagle Valley Land Trust and the Eagle River Watershed Council. There's about 35 participating local businesses. And when anybody buys something from that business, 1% of that purchase goes to the Land and Rivers Fund. There is an opt-out provision, but I don't know that anybody really opts out when they go to do it. And it's just a very seamless part of their POS system. So we've got places like Sunrise Minturn. Shout out to Doug. I think Doug was the first one to sign on. He's a good dude. So if you're watching, Doug, we love you at Sunrise Minturn. The Riverwalk Theater, Balance Point Construction, Two Arrows, as you mentioned. Cut, Drunken Goat. I could go on. I don't want to single
out. Where can I find the full list?
Yeah, thank you very much, because I don't want to play favorites. Landandrivers.org. And it's a way that not only locals can support, this valley, but all our visitors too. It's bringing some dollars to conservation of these kind of beautiful areas that we really want to protect.
So what's kind of in the pipeline for Eagle? For the land trust or anything
that's
you can
confidential,
share?
Barry.
Okay.
Don't you try to get me to say things that I'm not allowed to. No, I'm just kidding. So as throughout the year, we're identifying places that might be a good fit to preserve. We do have some in the pipeline, but in order to protect kind of the attorney-client privilege and the privacy of some of these owners, I can't talk about that here, but I can talk about some recent successes. How about that?
I'd like to hear that.
All right. So one of the biggest ones recently, I've got two I want to talk about. So one is, I alluded to earlier, it was a partnership with Eagle County Open Space, and it's the Brush Creek Valley Ranch and Open Space, about 1,500 acres down valley. Just a beautiful place. There's going to be, it's just a great place to get outside.
And for people that might not be as familiar, can you describe exactly where that's located?
Yeah, so it's down Eagle Gypsum area, like farther down valley. And the other one is actually in Garfield County. We do have great relationships with our neighbors, and it's Sweetwater Lake. Have you ever been out there?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. You can go paddle boarding. There's great hiking around there. There's a cool cave out there. You mentioned, how old's your son?
He's 7.
Yeah, he'd dig it.
Yeah.
My daughter Violet, definitely. It's a cool place to go. We've been paddleboarding out there. That was a huge win. It's a beautiful place out there. We worked with a conservation fund and the U.S. Forest Service to preserve that land. It is, there's a ton of land out there. There's, of course, the lake, and it was recently determined that it's going to actually be a Colorado State Park. So the infrastructure is going to get built out. There's going to be, a lot of investment in that area in order to give us access to these, again, the reasons why we all moved here. I don't know where you're from.
Somewhere not as beautiful as here.
Precisely.
I mean, that's the reason we all moved here. And now, maybe a potential TV8 segment, Spelunking with Violent and Ziggy at Sweetwater State Park.
I love it.
Could be in the future.
Are we going to take over? Is that where we're
Yeah, I
we're
think
all
we,
about?
we need to take it to Sweetwater.
This guest host thing is really, they're really going to regret this, Barry.
They're giving us some liberties here today. So for the Eagle Valley Land Trust, does the conversation usually start with the landowner approaching you that they've been thinking about conservation and thinking about preserving this beautiful valley, or is it vice versa?
I think it's a mix of both. Like I said, we've identified, we kind of use GIS data and things like that to look at what's out there, what can we preserve. And sometimes people want to come to us, so we'll make those conversations or make those asks. It's pretty delicate, some of the places we have are ranches that have been in people's families for generations, and it can really be a difficult discussion about what do they want to do with it, what's the future of that family, what's the future of that land, and our interest is always in working with those people and making them feel comfortable for it too. So yeah, I do think we get vice versa.
And I think that's got to be really special to be able to work on preserving our valley. And thanks for joining me today. And guys, be sure.
Are we already done?
Yeah, we're already done.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Barry, you're doing a great job.
Well, look out for Ziggy and Violet Spelunking adventure this summer.
Love it.
Thanks, TJ.
Thanks, Barry.